Oh no! No! Stop picking up samples and stab the in the head! Welcome to State of Decay 2 Lethal Difficulty in 2025. We're starting a fresh community with no minimap and curveballs set to harder than Elon Musk reading Mein Kampf. So make sure to like the video and subscribe as we make a start on our epic adventure in Drucker County, the map I know the least. Let's meet the team. There is Stonington, an action movie extra who loves to fiddle with the rod between his legs. There's Melia, a youth counsellor who just keeps going, with room to learn and grow. And last but not least, Abby, who loves to read, is extremely loyal, and knows exactly how to trim a good bush. Together, they all have one thing in common. They're warlords, hell-bent on using anyone and anything to get exactly what they want. The Draig Thee. It's Welsh for Black Dragons, an evil bunch of menacing bastards that have one goal: conquering the apocalypse while lining their own pockets and curb-stomping anyone who gets in their way. But first, we gotta make a base capable of supporting any and all of our needs. We collect building materials from nearby. I give an emotional reading from a torn journal page.
It's been 7 months since the camp got overrun, but it's easy to lose track of the days. I've been on my own for so damn long. Thankfully, I'm not hearing voices yet. I'm saving one last bullet for when that starts. This world is bad enough when you're sane. I don't want to be one of those crazy ones. Please, God, don't let that happen.
Whoa, do you feel that? Shivers. Then we make a massive step towards passive recovery by starting the construction of an infirmary. We'll need more materials to upgrade it to level 2. Once we have our community, we'll be able to heal passively when not in use. Next on my list is to collect some fermented dinosaur gunk so I can get the starter car up and running. I'm also fortunate enough that the car spawned with a toolkit in the back so we can actually drive it without the risk of sudden combustion and not having to worry about being tossed off by a freak. Tossed out. Two very different meanings. After dropping the supplies the car was already packing back at base, I start thinning out the local crackhead population with my arse. I can then collect more building supplies from the local gas station. You might be thinking, why the bloody hell are you getting building supplies from a petrol station? Well, petrol stations these days sell anything and everything, ranging from porn to diarrhea. Next on my to-do list is to get high as fuck, so I can survey the local area as to see where and what we can scavenge next. I then turn the local gun shop into an outpost for that daily ammo resource. I then managed to scavenge some useful supplies such as shotgun and shells, even more shells, and you wouldn't believe it, a bloody crossbow. How pathetic. Who the bloody hell would use a crossbow? Cowards, that's who. I then collect some meds from the Tartan Mart next door, food from the fruit stand across the road, and even more meds from the medical centre adjacent. But before I can drop them off, I once again have to do my part to cull the local crackhead population with my big bunda. With the supplies dropped off, we're in a pretty good position going forward. I only wish this peace would have lasted.
Stop it! I'm trying to climb, you fucking idiot!
I continue to scavenge the houses nearby, and with the exception of a bite from a regular Z, it goes by without incident. Then as the afternoon draws to a close, it's time to check out what the locals need. The fireside campers need some plague samples to manufacture some cure, and would be willing to trade me some fuel supplies if I can get my hands on some. Fuel being one of the supplies I go through the most due to an excessive amount of Molotov crafting, I agree, knowing the best way to collect some will be by taking down a plague cart. First I stop by a water pump station to try and get my hands on a heavy weapon. At the moment all I've got is a baseball bat and a rifle, and heavy weapons will be doing the most damage, so ideally I want to get my hands on one. Unfortunately all I get is building materials, circuitry scraps and some kind of scythe looking thing, which is going to be even more useless than my baseball bat. Luckily I can get my hands on a big old shovel in a shed across the road, but with all that loot weighing me down I figure it's best to drop some stuff off before we begin our assault, and that's when it happens. Our first negative curveball. Fueling the plague. Plague carts are draining fuel from a nearby gas depot, and in turn that's causing the undead to catch on fire when attacked and explode when killed. Sadly I can't use this to take down the plague carts as they've all got an increased resistance to fire and explosives. To make things worse, it's only taken up a third of the map, including my base. Seriously brutal for our first curveball. If you're a beginner, you might want to turn curveballs off entirely while you're still learning the game, as the rest of this video will demonstrate shit is about to get mental. I decide to follow the game's direction by heading towards the plague cart it suggests. That at least gets me out of the fuel in the plague zone so I won't have to be dodging exploding Zeds. As fatigue is slowly starting to creep into Stonington, I want to get this over quickly, so I pop an energy drink to keep my stamina refilling and head to the main road where I drop a firework I found earlier. I hope that will keep the few undead in the area distracted while I smack that strange sack of meat. I creep inside and luckily there's nothing around so I can start my assault, which obviously awakens the thing, but I'm not concerned as it won't be alive for much longer. I complete the first of 3 phases just as the undead catch up to me, then I drop my only soda can bomb to do some additional damage. But now my energy drink is expired and Stonington needs a lie down. Foolishly I decide to take on the undead phase first and surprisingly it works out, allowing me to take down the second phase while also dropping a box mine. But a mixture of the heart's gas defense and my own incompetence means I'm not only partially infected, but also my stamina bar is no longer existing. Right now a sensible man would retreat to lick his wounds, but I'm neither sensible nor a man. Wait, hang on. No, I'm definitely one of those things. With a molly clearing the room, a few more swings allows me to finish the heart for good. 1 down, just 29 more or so to go. Surprisingly, I'm also able to loot the heart without a problem. Then it's finally time to head back to base, in the dark, where I have to avoid any purple-eyed Zeds or my car bursts into flames.
Shit in hell. Yeah, that's all let off. I've lost a couple of doors there.
I drop off the samples, getting some fuel in return, before using our newfound friendship to get a better deal on purchasing some building materials. With that, I can finally get home, unload, and start the upgrade of our infirmary to level 2. But our second negative curveball is already making an appearance. Ransacking bastards! A group of hostiles are now in town and are stealing all of our medical and fuel supplies. But as we aren't getting a daily income of either of them, for now we'll let them be while we build up our defences. It's a shame they didn't set up base in the fuel in the plague zone, otherwise we'd have had a simpler way to deal with them. It's time for Melia to take charge as Stonington is shattered. With the samples he collected, I'm finally able to craft a cure in the infirmary, which means our loadout is actually starting to look pretty respectable. Still, I fear it's not enough to take on the fuel in the plague heart, so I decide to check out a mysterious broadcast that I know is from Cleo. All going to plan, they'll send a supply drop with some high-powered loot that I'll be able to use. The message just so happens to be coming from a water tower on the edge of the fuel in the plague zone, so I'm gonna have to be careful. Although the allure of nearby building materials is too much for me to resist, sadly with a couple of bassuas in tow I'm gonna struggle to do much looting. Luckily, smacking the fucker in the face will set him on fire and start a countdown until he explodes. As explosions tend to be quite loud, I climb the water tower to hopefully let things die down slightly, while also surveying the immediate area. Cleo has also made a drop a small distance away, although it's much further into the fuel in the plague territory than I'd have liked. Knowing Zeds are in my way, I try to snipe them with a 22 caliber pistol from the water tower and actually manage to hit a target, causing more explosions. Hopefully that fireball will have cleared the way for me to return to my car. Nope. Apparently not. And that causes things to slightly escalate. And as I still want to get my hands on some building materials before I leave, I try looting, but then this happens.
Oh no! Oh, a heavy hitter! Melia!
Yeah, not a great look. But in my defense, I didn't think Melia had the arms of the Incredible Hulk. She caved in a skull with a single shovel blow. That in turn caused a chain reaction of explosions that would give the Japanese some serious PTSD. And to make things worse, some vicious rumours have been started about our community, meaning if we want to trade with other enclaves, it's gonna cost us a shit ton. Back at base, Abby takes charge as Stonington is still catching up on his beauty rest. But as Melia was rocking all of our good gear, I'm gonna have to do something diabolical to get it all back.
We're taking the crossbow. Don't know how desperate I've got to be to use a crossbow, chat. A crossbow?
I hope you'll find it in your hearts to forgive my desperation. I don't even have enough samples to craft another cure, so Abby scrapes together some energy drinks and painkillers to make her way on foot to Melia's final resting place, just a 600-meter trek through fuel in the plague territory. The journey starts off sensible with a light jog to save our limited stamina, although pretty soon I've gotta make a run for it to avoid the undead. Luckily Thankfully, they aren't plague zombies that explode if you cave their heads in. I managed to lose them, but now my stamina is empty, and a plague's head has caught my scent. I can't kill it without attracting more. Ah, fuck, another has joined the chase. What do I do? It's time to finally put that crossbow to good use. That should burn up any of the pursuers chasing me, and with an energy drink refilling my stamina, I can easily escape and let the fireball burn up any other pursuers. What energy drink does a pro gamer such as myself use? I hear you scream from the rooftops. Well, this channel is partnered with the legends over at Wraith Energy. If you want to get your hands on a bloody lovely sugar-free energy drink with 200 milligrams of caffeine and over 25 flavors available, click my link in the description and use code JTalbot to check out for 10% off your order. My personal favorite is the new lizard people I made, but they have tons of wild flavors to choose from. Gamer bathwater to RGB berry or even what the duck. Or alternatively, you could pick up a mega bundle to test them all out, plus you get a sick shaker. Big thank you to Wraith Energy. Now let's get back to the video. Abby can get back to the site of her friend's demise, and thankfully nothing could have survived that flame. Surprisingly, I'm able to search what's left of her remains.
She's just a pair of legs!
Sadly, however, I'm unable to bring everything back as my pockets are simply not deep enough. Instead, I focus on the most important things: shotgun, cure, and heavy weapon. And as I've got room for a rucksack, I complete her quest and collect a sack of building materials, before squeezing as much as I can into the car and heading off back home. I need a bloody good rest from Zeds that explode if you sneeze too close to them. So I decide to take Abby to visit a network trader outside of the explosion zone. Luckily, we've gathered some pretty valuable items while scavenging so far, although as base is inside the Fueling the Plague territory, we still need to avoid the explodey boys to make it there safely. Something which is especially difficult when it comes to crossing bridges.
Alright, straight through! Well, that could have gone better.
I need to cross that bridge to make it to safety, but I can't cross at the moment as there's two bloaters. I can't keep still as there's a feral, and we're completely surrounded by plague zeds that will explode if you even hurt their feelings.
Okay, Crackhead doesn't want to be dealt with, apparently.
When I try for a second time, the little fucker phases through my car, which then means he can get easy access to my bonnet, so I've got to act like my missus in a car park to eliminate him. I can then lead the undead away from the bridge to allow me an easy crossing, but not quite.
Oh no! You son of a bitch!
With the car slightly engulfed in flame, although not enough to cause an explosion, I can cross the bridge avoiding the bloaters. I can then get to Alexis Carter, simple enough, although I'd forgotten about the vicious rumours curveball, which means I'm the one getting fleeced for all of my valuables. With that disappointment, I leave empty-handed, with half the influence gained as I should have. And to make things worse, the car is still in piss poor condition. I head to my ammo outpost to collect some more supplies before deciding I've had enough of the Fueling the Plague. It's time to deal with that bloody plague cart. With the sun rising, I should have a much easier time at least, although I think something supernatural might have occurred en route.
Oh my god, what's the green glow? I think we just got invaded by the aliens.
If I'm about to get probed by ET, I'm not going to be happy. Before taking on the heart, I check out the Cleo drop Melia failed to collect earlier, and I'm glad I did as we collect some cracking loot in the process. With the heaviest items safely stored in the trunk, I move my battered shitbox into position and head on foot to talk to the Enclave that can tell me which heart is causing the problem.
Let's go speak to this guy, talk to Dallas. He might be able to help us. Hopefully he can.
Unfortunately, Dallas is in the process of setting off a chain reaction. So when I arrive, although there are no Zeds left in the area, Dallas is really struggling with PTSD, and is simply refusing to talk to me. Either that or the fucker can't hear me through all the ear ringing. So I'm forced to make an educated guess to decide which heart is causing the issue. That one. However, Abby's gonna have to tackle this a little differently if she wants to make it out without a freak exploding in her face. I'm sure the ladies can relate. This is where I start to figure out by using the crossbow I can remain completely undetected, and the exploding Zeds doesn't spawn any more to the area.
Just so you know, I have never done this level of stealth in my life. Ever.
It's kind of typical that my most stealthy moment just so happens to conclude with Zeds exploding. It's what I do. Sadly, with all the Zeds cleared, I'm down to my final crossbow bolt, but that's not going to stop me from completing the first phase of the play card. In the frantic escape, I use my final crossbow bolt. So to escape the explodey boys, I've got to climb the petrol station across the road and drop down to the other side, not even rolling an ankle in the process. I decide to revisit Dallas to see how he's doing, but the PTSD has him good.
Oh, Dallas, you lazy prick, it was barely a wound. We should have seen Melia earlier. Poor girl.
So it's time to get back to the play card. 1 phase down, 2 to go. But without any more bolts, I'm forced back to my car to reload and decide to settle for the clear weapon we just collected, which is great timing as we then have to eliminate the feral. Gratefully, those gunshots don't spawn in any other threats, so I take that as a sign from Ares himself to focus on the next phase of the heart. I complete the next phase just as a horde catches us, but a simple tap with a shovel can make sure they won't be following us for long. After retreating to the relative safety of a destroyed bus, I find out the hard way why you're never truly safe with this curveball active. Luckily, I'm packing more painkillers than Harold Shipman in a nursing home.
It was part of my plan, but I didn't expect it to... I meant to set him on fire, not kill him.
By sneaking through the petrol station, I lose any pursuers, but there's still Zeds floating around the placard. Well, with them dealt with, I can now focus on the sack of meat. Although with only 1 phase left, I don't want to waste a stimulant, so it's not long before my stamina tanks. While I wait for it to recover, I shoot the leg off a Zed, leaving it harmless, or legless in this case. Then a few more swings ends the heart for good, putting an end to the fueling the plague curveball. So it's just ransackers and vicious rumours to worry about currently. With no more hearts in the area, I'm able to claim the petrol station opposite as an outpost, and spend the next few in-game hours looting the entire area. With that completed, I realise I have enough building materials to start the construction of a workshop, although the car is still very much battered, and even though I don't need to avoid the mobile Z explosive unit, I'm still only 1 fender bender away from becoming the next high-ranking Russian general. Back at base, I unload the rucksacks we've gathered and take control of Stonington, who firstly deals with a siege site that's starting to form, as I haven't exactly been careful keeping placards asleep.
Oh, look at that run. What the fuck is that run about?
With that successful, we nominate him as leader. He then arms up, ready to take down the ransackers. Although en route, I realise there's a red talon trader sort of on the way, so decide to see what he's got for sale. Unfortunately, when I get there, he's only accepting prestige as payment, and isn't even interested in buying any of my rare shite. I'm guessing this is caused by one of the Enclave mods I've got installed, but I'm not sure which one. Thankfully, there's a second trader just down the road, but things aren't going to be that simple. Smokestorm, rendering our visibility to the end of our decks, which isn't very far. Shit. To make things worse, our stamina will drain faster and bloaters will be more deadly. And as it's late afternoon, it's gonna be dark soon, making our visibility even worse. The best bet to survive this is to hunker down and wait it out, which should be much easier with a trader watching my back. I let him deal with the crackhead, then sell him the expensive shit I brought with me. But now I want to make a purchase of my own, starting with a heavy vehicle upgrade kit. There's a car fairly close to base that's compatible, I just need a fuel can to get it back to base. The great thing about these vehicle kits is they'll fully fix the vehicle, fill up the tank, and often stick some useful items in the trunk. I then turned my attention to weaponry, buying a Raiders AK-47 and a Raiders AR-15. 2 very powerful guns with massive mags that will be very useful for dealing with those ransackers. But first I'm gonna have to wait out the smokestorm. I find a fuel resource in the petrol station, then climb the cell tower behind it to survey the area. And there just so happens to be a plague cart right next door. Well, it would be rude not to take it out, especially with it already being awake. But as the only melee weapon I brought with me was a sword, I've got to make another purchase from the trader. It's only a blunt weapon, but it'll do a much better job than the sword. Then as nighttime truly sets in, I can see precisely fuck all. There could be any manner of things in the darkness just waiting to turn me into a happy meal. Luckily, I got a cheeky plan. I'd originally brought a boombox to draw Zeds to the ransackers, but this time I've placed it right next to the trader, which should help draw the Zeds to him, where he can deal with them without costing me any ammo. That works out pretty well, as I managed to complete the first phase uninterrupted before dropping a molly as I escape. But now the hordes and a feral have found their way to me, so I figure it's time to lead them back towards the trader for some assistance. Although it's the shotgun that comes in clutch when dealing with the crackhead. The second phase goes down easily enough, and seeing as we can't exactly see what's happening, let's skip to the part where we deliver the final blow. Ignore my infection meter. With the area secure, the 2 infestations will slowly start to die out, and I can abandon my previous outpost and set Snout's feed and farm supply as a replacement to allow me to drop off the plague cart supplies as well as the goods we purchased earlier. This means I can fill the car's boot with just rucksacks. I was also lucky enough to find a toolkit outside the farm shop, which should make our journey back to base much less stressful. And with an outpost being so close to a trader, that allows me to gain back a lot of the influence I spent on heavy grade weaponry by selling him things I'll never use. Smokestorm finally comes to an end and we can make our way home much safer. But as we do, our next negative curveball takes center stage. out for blood. They deal more damage, they take more damage, and they have the pace of a marathon runner. Overall, a terrible curveball, which is going to make Abby's next mission all the more troublesome. She's tasked with collecting a second vehicle, something we can use that heavy vehicle kit on. We find a smoke grenade in the boot, refuel, and manage to make it back with no issues, before immediately using the kit to create the smash wagon. What an absolute beast of a vehicle. To top it off, in the spacious boot we get some extra fuel and pipe bombs, something I hope will come in handy on our next quest, which will be to finally deal with the ransackers, so we can start earning daily fuel and medical supplies. I use the workshop to craft some firecrackers that arm up like an American high schooler. Because of the smoke grenades, vaping is a very serious problem. We forge into new territory with our new smash wagon, and luckily the silly bastards are all hiding out in a little tiny shed with only one entrance. So I immediately block that entrance and toss a firecracker under the shutter. But sadly they figure a way out, and as there's now 8 of them, and each being more bullet spongy than the previous, I quickly realise I haven't got the right kit to be tackling hostiles. Especially when this happens.
Oh shit, yep. See, that's bad.
Luckily Abby can shake off bullets like it's nothing. We do actually manage to take down a single member, but with my ammo supplies nearly non-existent, I need to get out before we get more holes filled than Bonnie Blue. After giving them a slip through the warehouse, I can get back to my car and escape, and I certainly don't get distracted by livestream chat.
Was you in the ambulance? Oh! Right, I don't know how. I swear I hit a bloater there.
Well, not quite. Luckily, we only lose a door, and it's a good thing that is impossible to come back to bite us in the ass, right? As we're in the area, it only makes sense to take on the playcart that's out for blood, so after parking up safely outside, it's time to get to work. And even though the first phase goes by quick enough, the second not so much.
The second phase is always really quick. Ain't that right, chat? Oh, no. You stupid twat!
2 of our 3 originals are now amongst the undead, leaving Stonington completely alone and desperate in a cruel world that only wants to consume flesh. With his 2 friends rotting on opposite sides of the map, Stonington is forced to make a decision, spending 5,500 prestige points to recruit the overpowered but vicious Red Talon operator and soldier. Would they take over? Would the Drag Z even be a thing anymore if we welcomed these militia for hired pricks? Of course it would. Please welcome Sag Miller and Torres to the team. It's Torres who's up first to bat, with her mission being to finish off what Abby started, as well as collecting the vehicle. Now allow me to let you in on a little secret. My first heartbreak was from a Torres, so let's hope this one doesn't end with a £50 million transfer to my rivals before inevitably flopping. Before I left, I made sure to start the upgrade of our command centre so we can get an additional outpost. So once Torres finishes off the Out for Blood, she'll be able to set an outpost, allowing for an easy drop off of resources while we scavenge nearby. Thankfully she makes it to Santa Maya with no problems, and pretty quickly pays a bloater with a firebomb to eliminate the reanimated corpse of our former friend, only slightly singeing an eyebrow in the process. She quickly completes the second phase of the heart, takes down a crackhead before finishing the heart with a firebomb. Sadly there's another heart in the area, so I'm not able to complete my outpost strat as intended, so we adjust our sails to focus on dealing with the ransackers. And with Torres being a machine that was built for war, it's pretty simple for her to clean up the mess Abby left behind.
See everyone? We just needed to think smart.
Oh yes, nothing says think smart like eliminating 7 strangers who you've never even had an interaction with. Good job, Torres. Good job. And this being the apocalypse with food soon to be scarce, I think it's only right to carve up these dead pricks with the possibility of turning them into a food resource if they are needed. Yummy. I make sure to loot as many of the bullet-riddled ransackers as my trunk and pockets will allow, even the ones that aren't fit for butchering. Hostels can actually be a pretty good way of gathering resources, providing you can take them out without using too much, of course. With every possible storage slot filled with some sort of weaponry or sacks of meat, we crack on with a plan to take out the remaining playcart that is preventing us from creating an outpost. Usually this would be foolish as I'm too heavy to fight, but I'm packing some smoke grenades I collected from the corpses. That means I'm perfectly invisible within the smoke's cloud, and surely that means the heart goes down without an issue.
Oh, no. Oh, God. Okay, yeah, you know what? We might need to leave right now. Don't think I'm quite ready to lose another character.
A feral has been attracted by all the commotion, but I'm able to take it down without removing what little health we have left. Now, with the area clear enough, I should retreat, leave to fight another day, but I still have a smoke bomb. And the stimulant is still active. Unbelievably, with like 3 HP left, we managed to take down the final phase, ending the playcart for good.
There we go. We don't want anything.
Good to reclaim some territory like this.
Let's go. No! Oh my... What?! Torres! Oh my god! Torres did flop! I mean, I can honestly say I've never seen a person die like that before.
Completely unnecessary. Let's review the game tape. Firstly, if I'd been paying attention here, I wouldn't have lost the door. I could have retreated when our storage was stuffed tighter than a sheep's arsehole on St. David's Day. And finally, I would have survived if I'd just closed the door. R.I.P. Torres, I can't believe it's the second time I've been let down by your namesake. To rub salt in the wounds, we get a triple slap of negative curveballs, radio silence so we won't be able to use the radio for help, then we have strange mutations which is yet to reveal its effect, as well as under the weather, which makes meds less useful and will require us to deposit 3 medical sacks into our storage to remove its effects. But for now, for the second time today, we have to run across country to once again collect our car and loot a friend's corpse. Maybe it's the car that's cursed. Sag Miller makes it to Santa Maya without any issues and turns the corner pharmacy into an outpost to be protected for the next hour and a half by incendiary landmines. While the explosions eliminate all the Zeds in the area, I collect our first medical sack before leading our former friend into the mines for a Viking funeral. May you rest in Valhalla, Torres. We collect the vehicle and begin the long, arduous task of looting the area while the mines are active. Even taking an emotional moment to read a frayed sheet of notepaper.
Emily, age 10.
When I grow up, I want to be a police officer like my dad. He carries a gun, but it's only to protect people from bad guys. I asked my dad if I could learn to shoot a gun, but he says it's more important to be able to talk to people, especially when they're angry or sad. I don't know if there are classes that teach that, but they should be. I think maybe we should learn that instead of division. So that is what I want to be when I grow up, and that makes 100 words. God damn it, Emily. Age 10. Division is important. How else you gonna know how to split the Weatherspoons bill with your mates?
We enjoy some fireworks, loot both of the dead play carts, collecting a second medical supply in the process, while also finding the third and final sack needed in the fire department. Sadly, after the command center upgrade, we don't have enough building materials to upgrade the outpost, so in order to deliver the meds, we've got to track back across Drucker to deliver them. But with that done, we can at least tick off one of the 3 negative curveballs. And as she took so long looting, we gotta swap to Stonington as Sag Miller is relying on coffee to stay awake. Stonington's goal is simple: secure the area surrounding the faulty radio tower so we can radio Red Talon and demand a refund as the goods they supplied wasn't fit for bloody purpose. R.I.P. Queen, we still miss you every day. The cell tower is located near Lake Brimley Park, but unfortunately has a screamer and a feral waiting for me. While I am able to avoid the feral and take out the screamer, I decide to climb the tower to see how many plague guards I'm gonna have to deal with to sort out this curveball. While there's 3 in the area, thankfully only 2 are threatening the cell tower. Back on the ground, we've got to deal with the crackhead, but I'd rather not waste the ammo and draw even more of them to my location, so instead I decide to stun it with the Tartar Mart's door, and then we can easily execute the little shit from there, which apparently awakes a placard.
And I'm about to go do that myself. I'm about to kill this motherfucking placard in more ways than one.
Although I wasn't expecting the placard that had literally just awoken to immediately be sending out infested hordes. Talking about seizing the day, when I wake up I'm literally useless for the first 2 hours, but this placard is like, nope, there are living beings out there that need to join our ranks. Let's send out a platoon of bloaters as well as a crack-headed general. Well, the quiet approach is well and truly out of the window. Let's just smash this piece of shit. The Black Heart, just as we are on the cusp of day 4. I'm pretty sure this is literally the earliest this curveball can spawn, but even that's taking the piss a bit. After completing a phase, I take some frag damage as I retreat, then run to the safety of a horse box to have a look at this Black Heart. It's in the northwest corner of the map, but its influence will slowly grow larger and larger. The Zeds surrounding it are strong as fuck, immune to fire, move fast, and are extremely infectious. To make things worse, it'll also drain the vehicle fuel at an alarming rate. But right now, we need to focus on getting the cell tower sorted so we can recruit more Red Talon members to give us a fighting chance. Gratefully, it's not much longer before we can deal the killer blow, although our health isn't exactly looking in great shape. But we can't retreat to swap out as Sag Miller hasn't had enough time to recover a fatigue. Although risky, the best play is to continue the plan and get the next heart dead and set up an outpost in this part of town.
The Scarlet Survivors, they seem very keen on me helping them. I'm just saying. It's like the 3rd time they've radioed asking for my assistance. I'll have to help them sooner or later. Shit. Oh god. No. No. No.
Stonington is dead. Our final OG member of the Thraig V. Is the Order dead on arrival? Sag Miller is our final member standing. Can she pull things back and form a community of badass outlaws? Or will she succumb to the same fate as her friends? Oh shit, fatigue is actually pretty fine. Oops. That's my bad, Stonington. There is one thing that is certain. We will do everything in our power to keep the dream alive. To build a community that all will learn to fear. We shall succeed or die horribly trying. First, we need to focus on an extra capable body so Sag Miller can swap out to. Fortunately, we have a mysterious visitor to the homestead. This is Owens, and her community has been working on an experimental substance that will make zombies ignore you. She gifts me some, then says she can give me even more if we find and take down the Juggernaut. I agree, a scent block will be very useful when it comes to dealing with that black heart. But for now, she's gonna act as my backup while we clear the radio silence so we can once again contact Red Talon. Although that might be easier said than done, as the car immediately loses half a tank of fuel in about 6 seconds. So the black heart's influence has now spread so much it's taken over our base, meaning we just wasted half a tank of fuel to get 25 meters. And I also forgot about the strange mutations curveball where zombies will explode into gunk as they die. I figured it would be for the best to get my car out of this situation by going as the crow flies, to get out of the Black Heart's territory as quickly as possible. So after grabbing a couple of fuel cans from my supply locker, I top up the car and give it a go. And we didn't even get close.
Oh my god, look how fast that's at. Look how fast that is. Look, did you see that? That is actually insane.
Thankfully, one more can is enough to get us out of the area, although I'm pretty sure we were massively assisted with gravity.
Oh, Jesus. Oh my Christ.
We still needed a third can to even get the car up and running. Thankfully though, that fuel can was more than enough to get us to the site of Stonington's final resting place, even if his belongings are no longer here. With Owens watching our back from the swarms of the undead, it's not long before we have the heart dealt with, and I can repay the favour by saving her life. After a quick check, it seems like the black heart has hit its maximum radius, so I create a safe space by claiming the gas station as an outpost. We can then secure the cell tower, ending radio silence. Then finally it's time to complete Owens' quest for that additional scent block, so I set landmines around the outpost before shooting at a Juggernaut nearby to lead him towards them. It's important that I actually hit him at least once so the kill counted as mine, and we could progress the mission. It might seem cheap, but when you're down to your final man, you gotta do what you gotta do to survive. We get an extra 4 scent block, which is gonna be massively helpful in taking down that black heart later, and then we can call in an additional Red Talon, who just so happens to spawn in the black heart zone. What a knobhead. This time I take the smash wagon Stonington had left behind, but stop on the edge of the black heart's territory to make the rest of the journey on foot. Searching this abandoned camp en route, thankfully finding some shots of espresso. Unfortunately, when I meet up with Fan, there was a feral there waiting for me, and the unsuppressed shots I used to take it out slightly cause mass hysteria. You see, as we have overlapping curveballs active in this area, some of the Zeds are faster and stronger from the black heart, some are from strange mutations, which means some are melee resistant and immune to fire, but those that aren't drop lows, which then continue to spawn more and more to the area. Although this is a great way to farm black heart samples so we can find out its weakness, it does lead to some touchy moments though.
Will you stop touching me? I didn't give you permission.
Eventually I do find another small window to chat to him and tell him to head over to our base, although I can't call in anymore as my prestige has hit record lows. I guess I'm gonna have to grind daybreak if I want to recruit anymore, or perhaps not. Even more hostiles to deal with. Ignoring the negative effects of less crafting and luxury items, by taking out these outlaws we'll get prestige, the same as when we take down the Black Heart. I'm not sure how much, but I'm hoping it's enough to be able to recruit one more. On my way back to the Smash Wagon, fatigue starts to kick in, strange mutations end, then I realise the outlaws are down south around my fuel outpost. So I immediately make my way back there as Sag Miller has the war fighting shooting speciality, making it easier for her to deal with the hostiles than our newbie Than. So I pop one of the espresso shots we found and head off to investigate. They're set up in the tartan mart across the road, and to start with I try softening them up with firecrackers to draw in the undead. However, they're all heavily armed, so the Zeds don't really get a look at. So when in doubt, it's better to use a blunt object to brute force the situation, rather than a precision scalpel to do the smart thing. I'm the blunt object. No smart play here, just spray and pay until they don't get up anymore, or we run out of bullets. Luckily, my sidearm is more than equipped to deal with the remaining bastards, gaining 200 prestige in the process. Assuming the Black Heart will also give me the same reward, I'll come up around 400 prestige short. But I know outlaws passing through is a pretty common curveball, so with a few more we should get there. It'll certainly save me from playing Daybreak for another 17 hours. I take the opportunity to loot all of the dead, making sure to collect all of their meat sacks. I'm not saying we're definitely going to turn to cannibalism, but I just want to keep the option on the table. Waste not, want not, especially when society has crumbled. As night slowly draws in, we finish off our looting. We get more ransackers making an appearance, not to be confused with the outlaws we just dealt with. Sadly, we won't be getting prestige when the time comes to eliminate these fuckers. Ignoring them, it's time for Than to make his debut so Zach Miller can rest and recuperate. As his shooting skill isn't quite maxed out, I take the opportunity to grind out the remaining star within the safety of our landmine protected outpost until it's ready for specialization. Now we'll be able to fight ferals without the risk of missing a headshot as long as we have the stamina to use. That's when Karma decides to reward us for our cheesy tactics.
Oh, for Christ's sake. This is the most dangerous area known to man, by the way.
With the second appearance of Fueling the Plague, it's taken over too much of the map. We've got to deal with it now because it's too risky for exploding Zeds to be allowed to continue unchecked. So I take our less valuable car to drive to the Enclave to tell us which heart is causing the problem, and surprisingly the engine doesn't bring a massive horde down on us. I actually managed to speak to the Enclave this time and even paid the 100 influence to enlist him as a follower. The heart causing the problem is in the Tartan Mart we parked next to, so I make a start in thinning the Z silently with a crossbow. How the mighty has fallen. I also brought scent block with me, but it turns out it really wasn't necessary, as I complete the first phase simple enough and drop a firebomb. Then while the heart is phasing, I help out my new compatriot to deal with a crackhead, although my actions result in her getting slightly singed in the process. Somehow while all that chaos ensues, I take the opportunity to run away and regain the stealthy upper hand. She on the other hand is not doing too good. As a horde flanks around the side of the building, I use the crossbow to eliminate them, and judging by my character's excitement, I'm guessing that did some decent damage. In fact, I have no reason to enter the building again as another horde enters, and I fire a single crossbow bolt that gets the job done, resistant to fire my arse. I head inside and collect the medical supplies from the heart as the fireside campers are requesting them. So far they're a friendly enclave, but I know by completing this quest they'll become allied, meaning I can recruit them for free. Even better, I have a mod installed that means the enclave won't disband and I'll be able to recruit as many as I'd like. Unfortunately, the stealthy approach doesn't work out that well, so when in doubt, run like the devil's chasing you.
Much appreciated.
Right? Maybe we should reevaluate this relationship.
No! I'm here! No! You dickheads! Dickheads! I'm right here! I'm right here! Honest to God, I have just... I have just... You were lucky I'm slow on resources, because I would put a 50 cal round in every single one of your faces.
With that immeasurable disappointment, I head my ammo outpost that's just around the corner and use the ever so reliable incendiary landmines to keep me safe while I load up with enough supplies to make it back to our vehicle. That was the plan at least. However, as you can see, the plan goes disastrously as the Blackheart zombies are completely immune to fire.
Oh my god! Oh my god! We got landmines active!
I've never seen this before, and it's fair to say it caught me off guard.
Talk to Emma! Fuck Emma right now, boys!
To lose them, I headbutt my way through a window and slip out the back door, which is unusual for me as I've been doing plenty of Kegel exercises. I finally managed to speak to Emma, who's a survivor in need, and agree to take her back to her community. A risk because she's set up in a very dangerous part of town. But right now I do anything to allow me to recruit more survivors. Unfortunately, her home has become a level 2 infestation, featuring 2 ferals and a juggernaut. So after she dies almost immediately, I use a scent block and leg it into the night, with one destination in mind: the Black Heart. I managed to complete the 600 meter journey to the Enclave that can discover its weakness, although my scent block has run out.
See? Magnets! I told you! They fucking exist! And they're here to kill me!
After they deal with the problem I started, I realise I forgot to bring the 5 black samples with me. So I'm back on the hunt, which goes well as these skittish little twats move more than a Tourette's patient going through meth withdrawal. Then once again, after I have to loudly deal with a feral, shit once again gets serious and I have to retreat my stamina deficient arse back to the Bunsen burners. But that does lead to a pretty epic trick shot.
Did you see that shit? We just got 3 in 1, baby!
And to prove it wasn't a fluke,
We just got a 2 in 1! Are you kidding me? Chat, I might be the greatest gamer to ever game. I might be, you know.
But if you disagree, feel free to let me know in the comment section, and I'll tell you in 69 different ways how you're completely wrong. Arvin tells us the heart's weakness is explosive, so I pop a second scent block and get to work, even if it's time for bed. You can probably guess exactly how this goes. I drop a pipe bomb I found in the Bunsen burner's base, only taking minimal shrapnel damage in the process. Then after slapping this strange sack of meat for a ridiculous amount of time, which results in my infection, it becomes quite clear I've got to come back better prepared, and with no more plague cure, it's certainly not worth the risk to continue the fight. Sadly, I can only get halfway as the scent block wears off. Then as a feral joins the fun, with no stamina I'm forced to climb to safety. Then as a second crackhead joins the chase, I think we need to take a measure of where we're at. We have no cure and no stamina items. I do have a scent block left over, but at this distance the ferals will see right through it. This is going to require an insane play to get out of this alive.
Oh, fuck off! Fuck off! Fuck off! Fuck off! Like, how is there so many? Oh no.
Yeah, I'd be speechless as well if I was you. Fucking knobhead. So we're back to a solo survivor run. Zach Miller loads up with the few explosives we have remaining, then realises the fireside campers need some ammo supplies. While this won't get them to allied, it will get them back to friendly, just one step away from the elusive allied status we're craving for easy recruitment. We give them the supplies, then set off to collect Than's belongings from his final resting place. We get there without too much drama, and you'll be glad to know I handle the situation calmly and professionally.
F*** off, I'm getting f***ed up with my own people. Oh, f*** off. Oh, no. Go away. Go away. Honestly, just f*** off. F***'s sake. I mean, I'm completely wasting my time here. No. Try and pick up the bolts, you bastard. Stop it. I'm trying to climb, you f***ing idiot. Honest to shitting thing.
Calm, cool and professional. My new middle name. At least by checking a map I can see we've separated the horde from our former teammate. Then with a quick dart through the tart and mart and slipping through the window we break lines of sight, which allows me to put Than to rest peacefully. All of that just so I can get a hold of an extra 2 bottles of scent block. And I've got to use one of those to complete the treacherous journey back to the Black Heart. And with it still active I can complete the first phase with the supply of soda can bombs I brought with me. For the second phase I slap it once with Than's heavy weapon, then drop a frag, surprisingly completing the phase. 2 down, this is going amazingly. Although the next 2 pipe bombs I drop seem to bounce off thin air.
That bounced off a fucking zombie. Oh, and again.
With 2 wasted, I've got to start being more clinical with my explosives. I drop another 3 pipe bombs, which stuns a feral, so I take the opportunity to execute. My final pipe bomb completes the 3rd phase, but these bastards have 5 phases, and I'm completely out of explosives. So I go back to trying to brute force this bitch, with 57 seconds of constant heavy swinging, but it doesn't even flinch. Thankfully, I'm nothing if not a complete professional.
No, stop picking up samples and stab the in the f***ing head.
After another 6 minutes of mindlessly running around, slapping the heart, then running around, then killing a feral, then killing another feral, then getting slightly angry.
Back off!
I do actually complete the 4th phase.
Oh no, no. We're done.
I'd miscounted at the time and thought that would be the final phase. It obviously wasn't. But in fighting for this long, I've completely depleted my supplies. With 12 crossbow bolts and a single cure remaining, even my scent block was starting to run out. But they say night is darkest just before the dawn, and I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. The fireside campers now want a portable generator, and I know for certain I have one in my storage locker. If I can only just get there, they'll become allied and I can finally recruit people to solidify our position and give Zach Miller a bloody good rest. On my way to my ammo outpost to collect the generator, a Juggernaut spots me, and as we have landmines still active, he's easily dealt with, ending the gargantua mutation I'm yet to mention. But I'm more interested in what he drops. A Kodiak XL shotgun,
Which is a 30-round shotgun.
I'm sure we'll be able to put that to great use. We grab the Jenny as well as a cup of Columbia's finest, and with that gifted to the fireside campers, they become allied in our fight to take on the Blood Plague. And as they are now free to recruit, I bring all but 2 into the gang. Please welcome Kayla with the 5th skill of hygiene to keep everybody less infected. There's Sturgeon, a fisherman granting us 2 food a day. There's Bradley, the exuberant heavy hitter with room to learn. There's Slingshot, a man who knows his way around a needle, giving the community plus 10 health. Angler, our 2nd fisherman. And finally Ken, relatable and loves to fiddle with his nuts. Together they make up the Thraigdi, and together they will end the Black Heart. You see, we must take out the Black Heart before leaving the session, otherwise the damage will reset.
Now, the only problem is... That crash has reset all the phases of the play cart.
All that progress for nothing. 5-cent block, 6 pipe bombs, 3 soda can bombs, 3 play cures, 1 life lost. All for a crash to put us right back where we started.